behind the murder of model Abby Choi that shocked Hong Kong. Friends and relatives of Hong Kong model Abby Choi on February 28 prayed for the unfortunate victim at the scene where police found part of her body. However, according to Bloomberg, this case also shows the dark side of real estate policy in Hong Kong, China. The case caught the city's attention as macabre details of the investigation dominated local media headlines and thousands of people left their condolences on social media accounts. Abby Choi's Guild. Model Abby Choi, 28, has more than 100,000 followers on Instagram. She recently appeared on the cover of luxury magazine L'Officiel Monaco and attended this year's Paris Fashion Week. Local police over the weekend said investigators had identified a skull, some ribs, and hair, believed to be Choi's. The police investigation began on February 22 after the beautiful model was reported missing. 2 days later, her body parts were found at the house in Tai Po district. The latest developments in this shocking Hong Kong case show that Choi's ex-husband Alex Kwong, 28, brother Anthony, 31, and their father, Kwong Kao, 65, are accused of Abby's murder. Choi. Alex Kwong's mother, Jenny Lee, 63, was charged with perverting the course of justice. According to Hong Kong broadcaster RTHK, the Kowloon City Magistrates Court on February 27 ruled that all 4 people were denied bail. Worth mentioning, Abby Choi met an undesirable end in the luxury apartment she bought in the name of her ex-father-in-law. The apartment, purchased for more than $70 million, $8.9 million, in late 2019. And her death shed light on the controversial housing policy. In 2016, in an effort to curb skyrocketing home prices, Hong Kong raised the registration tax for non-first-time buyers to 15%, while the tax rate for first-home buyers was only 25%. Ms. Choi already has another luxury apartment in the city, so she left her ex-father-in-law in the name of the owner. The 15% tax rate is a matter of consideration for not only the poor but also the extremely wealthy in this special zone. After the global financial crisis, retail investors in Hong Kong had few options. Bank interest rates are too low, the stock market does not have much hope, while investing more in real estate will be subject to high taxes. Their solution is to ask relatives or close friends to name the second property, and that opens up the possibility of future conflict. Thus, the tragic outcome of Abby Choi raises the question of whether now is the time to revisit the tax policy on second home ownership, which has been in place for more than 6 years. After 13 consecutive years of rising, house prices in Hong Kong fell 15.6% last year. Meanwhile, with the dual effects of rising interest rates and a wave of immigration, the outlook for this year remains bleak. This probably explains why Choi wanted to sell that luxury apartment. It was purchased at the end of 2019 as an investment and she was merely cutting her losses. In Hong Kong, the selling price of an apartment gradually declines after a holding period of 3 years. In a way, the 15% tax contributed to Choi's tragedy. Faced with the fact that real estate prices are not commensurate with the income of the majority of people, the head of the special government John Lee seems to have found a solution. He is stepping up public housing development, pledging to cut the waiting time for families looking to buy a home from 6 years to 4.5 years by 2027. Last week, the Hong Kong government cut it. Reduced registration tax on cheaper homes. This is the right time, because the city's real estate developers are selling a lot of new apartments this year. Some have accepted discounts to boost sales. As the no-COVID policy comes to an end, Hong Kong wants to rebuild its reputation as Asia's most prominent financial hub. Reducing real estate fees is a good place to start. So, if the government wants to support the middle class, it is very likely that cutting transaction costs for second home owners will be considered.